I'm slightly upset at the insinuation.
I didn't insinuate.
Yes.
I said straight up.
All right, so we'll actually skip that and let other people cover that.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I mean, it's cool, but
No, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Let me take it out of the show notes.
I'll tell you what to do.
I said I'll take.
John's just in a salty mood.
That's not a very positive
Is it your
attitude,
wrist?
John.
I'm not at all. Yeah, yeah, my wrist is bothering me, but
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Did you miss the anniversary reenactment of the Battle of Hastings because of your wrist? Is that why you're so upset?
I'm just gonna play StarCraft while you guys do the show.
Okay. Which was literally the anniversary was 3 days ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I teach it.
I was gonna say if anyone is aware, it would be John.
Sometimes you never know.
That's true. I'm not big on dates. Like, I don't make the kids memorize the dates and stuff.
I don't know if that's a thing.
Well, that's what your notes are for.
Exactly. Yeah, that's how
That's
I
what
feel.
Wikipedia is for.
Yeah, basic research is a thing, right? Like,
Yes, it absolutely is. Basic research skills are an absolute 100% thing.
yeah. So, yeah, I don't make my kids memorize much at all. Like, if it's just one of those things of, it's like I ask them a lot of, questions of like with dates, numbers, statistics, things like that. But it's always like, you have your notes. This should be in your notes.
Yes.
Right.
You should understand the broad strokes and the important implications of things, but I don't expect you to memorize every frickin' stat I give you. But it should be in your notes.
All right, let me wet my whistle.
What? You're not Tom.
What? Just because I wet my whistle doesn't mean I drink alcohol.
Well, that's usually what that term's used for, right?
Usually, but not in this case.
Well, I feel like you're just being a snowflake. I don't have to be positive towards Adam, right?
No,
Okay.
no, not at all.
Yeah. No, it's positive all around.
2 against
That's
1.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing?
2 against 1. Axis of entropy says fart noise, and I don't know why. Did one of you fart and then it came out on the stream?
Not that I know of. I'm not
yeah.
putting my headset near my ass, that's for sure.
Isn't that what you talk out of, though?
Yes.
It's true.
But that's not what I fart out of. All right, whenever you're ready, John.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, and you're up.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another fantastic episode of TFG Radio. Again, I'm Adam once again. With me, as always, is John on the Wheels of Steel. Say hi,
Yes.
John.
Hello. How are you guys?
Yes.
I'm here.
Oh, back from his recent reenactment at the Battle of Hastings.
No, he missed it because of his wrist, remember?
Oh, that's right. Well, he just had to sit on the sidelines. He was just polishing armor.
Nah, he was
I can't
just
even do
ensuring
that with my
historical
wrist.
accuracy.
You do with the other hand.
I still can't even grip the controller to play Apex. Right. I can't make my thumb do
Oh,
what it needs to do for that.
You're missing out. It's actually really good.
I know. I keep being told by everybody, including my students, that I'm missing out. And I'm like, guys, I literally can't do it. You can see on my wrist where I had incisions.
John,
Yes.
it's really good.
I'm aware. Thank you for rubbing it in that I can't play.
It's so much
I'm
fun.
not aware, so.
Right.
I actually stopped playing WoW for a couple hours to play.
That's
Apex.
impressive. What are you, like, level 5,000 now? Are you the guy?
I'm-
You're the guy from the South Park episode who they have to get the special sword?
No, unfortunately, I'm only level 29, almost at 30. I have to actually work and stuff. So,
Oh, okay. Well,
and
fine
as
then.
you just heard, we also have Danny with us.
Yes, we do.
Hey.
Tom is trapped at home.
At home without the ability to be on with us.
Yeah, unfortunately, or fortunately, depends on your attitude towards Tom.
Wow.
I'm thinking, just keeping it real.
Does anyone even mention him?
God, you guys are fucking savage as hell.
I'm positive no
Yeah,
one mentioned.
today was a good day.
Today was a great day. I'm super happy.
So speaking of today,
Yes.
speaking of these last 2 weeks since the last time we've been on, it's been a very
Yep.
interesting couple of weeks.
Mhm.
We
In the
had
best of times, the blurst of times.
we had Iron Hands make a showing at a few events and do. They did okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know.
They won
everything?
6 of the 8, and then a 7th win was White Scars and their successor chapter.
No, it was White Scars and Iron Hands.
Right. I meant Iron
Or-
Hand's successor. That's what I was trying
Iron
to
Hands
say.
successor.
I wasn't very
Yeah,
clear.
not even a clean sweep. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
So what's the problem?
Were the people in the other tournament even trying? Were the Iron Hand players in that 8th tournament they lost even trying? Come on. You guys can do better.
I'm assuming they all got disqualified because they're proxying with the wrong models.
Oh, their Centurions were obliterators or those rat things?
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm assuming that's what happened.
I love that.
So that's why. And we did have our so we had that kerfuffle. People were a bit excited about that.
That's a good word. I like that. That's one of my
For
favorites.
ballyhoo, but whatever.
I'll take both of those being used within a minute of each other. That's pretty great. I like it. Yeah. So, and then in response today, we got 2 FAQs.
Well, there was a lot of gnashing of teeth and rubbing dirt in your hair. And
Lots of memes.
Yeah, a ton of memes.
Yeah.
Today was a good meme day.
John was working
John was busy.
overtime.
Yeah.
I was. I got a bunch of them on here. Some of them some of them are responses to the first FAQ, and then there's responses to the second FAQ.
Right. So
And then
similar
there's
to
responses to the salamanders. The salamanders.
okay, yeah. There's a lot going on, and we'll go through.
There was a lot going on today. Today was a hard day to have to work.
Yeah. Yes, actually, it was. It was.
Yeah.
You need to call in sick. You need to be like, my wrist is really hurting. I need to go home, guys.
I was lucky in my first 2 periods the kids took tests for half the time.
Yeah.
And then after that I had a break for an hour. So I spent that hour memeing.
Yeah. I gave a midterm today, so I managed to keep up with a lot of what was going on in the early morning.
That's pretty
I
impressive.
just looked at my phone most of the day at work instead of actually working.
Wow. Okay.
So the response in general, like we just said, was very overwhelming, with people saying that they were going to quit until it was corrected, quote unquote, take a break, things of that nature. I was always of the mind of just to keep playing because I was playing Chaos anyway, and I didn't feel like doing an Iron Hands army, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, there was plenty of salt from all the other podcasts about how I'm quitting if GW doesn't respond to this way I think they should, and I'm quitting, but I'm still going to talk online about it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
There was talk about banning the supplement books.
There was talk about banning the supplements. Oh, we'll just ban all the supplements.
You know what? I've never.
Hey, and you know what? It all turned out fine today.
I've never
Everything
been
worked itself out.
I've never been in favor of banning books.
No, me neither.
But then a lot of
Except for Forge World early on in 5th.
well, that was early on, but that wasn't a book. That was more of a range.
A range.
Forge World back then was a bit more not as accessible as it is today.
Not to mention they were generally overpowered as opposed
Way
to
overpowered too. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas today it's like, oh, you're using Forge World. Okay.
That's cute.
Is it a Leviathan Dread? No. Aw.
Yeah. It's sweet. You want to use that model.
I mean, an example is early on. Nova had banned. Remember when Nova banned Knights?
Yes. I do remember that.
So
I feel
things of
like
that
he would
nature.
still do that if people allowed Mike to do it.
But I think part of it is also because all 3 of us have played longer than the average player now, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make it okay to have such a powerful book, but it just from experience, it's almost like something that just happens, I guess. I don't know. To me, I guess it's almost like the battered spouse syndrome, where it's just like you're so used to it. It's the norm.
I think it's just accepting the ebb and flow of the game that,
Right.
like no matter
that's
what,
I said. Battered spouse.
yeah, I guess so.
Oh, God.
I don't think it's
flow of
quite
the
that bad. Yeah.
Depends on who you ask.
That's not a
If you ask all the
relationship.
if you ask all the non-Iron Hand players,
Oh,
Yeah, they're definitely acting like someone was fucking whooping their ass.
well, I mean,
And to be fair, someone probably was with Iron Hands.
yes, it's true. Yes.
Yeah,
it's funny how most of the gnashing of teeth came from people who are like, "I'm good at this game." Plays our hand player. I lost. That should never happen. It's
Yes.
like, or
that was the
maybe you're
best.
just
Can you
not
believe
as-
how I've lost to this game to this person? And can you believe how this person has dominated this thing? They should never do that. Look at all these other players. It's like, wow, guy.
it kind of reminds me of
it is
when,
possible that some people are good with certain books, and I'm sorry that you have to cry and rub dirt in your hair for a little bit while you get used to something because you've played it one time.
Right. It's also like they're with the Iron Hands, especially they needed to be
toned down. Yes,
right. But it's also the reality of they were a they're a meta
combo
bending list.
Yes.
So if you didn't, a lot of what would be considered good lists, 2 weeks ago, stop being good.
Yep.
Right. And then so you get people who are like, oh, I shouldn't have lost. And it's like, well, but you're going up against a list archetype that you're not built to play against. So here we are.
I shouldn't have lost. It was the terrain. The terrain was at Jim's house.
What's my terrain doing at your house, Jim?
I don't have your terrain. Bob's got it.
It kind of reminded me of that spiel you had, John, about when they wanted the Castellan nerf with your tinfoil hat theory.
Oh yeah, for sure. That was a great rant. That was easily one of my favorites.
But it kind of reminded in terms of that that type of argument as to why it needs to be nerfed. But
yeah,
but I think the skill level required to pilot that
that's true.
list is a lot higher than it would be with Iron Hands from what we've seen.
I
Because
agree.
we had our RTT this weekend and Iron Hands almost won.
Mm-hmm.
But thanks to hot dice on shock attack guns, it seems to be like the only thing that could stop them.
Hot dice on shock attack guns stop anybody that has any armor involved.
Yeah.
So that's that.
I mean, hell, if it rolls really hot, it can even handle units because you're just pumping out a shit ton of mortal wounds.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. I said it before, which was the reason it was so vehemently against the Iron Hands. I think a lot of it had to do with, Astra Militarum, Blood Angel, not Castellan, but Knight list, right? When it was the three factions combined, had like a 70% win rate, but it wasn't winning events. Iron Hands had this crazy 70% win rate, and it was only losing to the mirror match. And on top of that, it won 6 of the 8 big events over the weekend.
And a couple of them, they were like the top 4.
Yes.
Right.
So that was more telling and also more off-putting, I think, to people. Like, how many nights were there at that first Bay Area Open with them? And there was only 2 that scored in the top 10. It was myself and then Ben, who I played round 5.
Sherwin. It was Ben.
Ben Vaughn.
Yeah, Ben Vaughn.
Yeah, Ben Vaughn. So it's like, and neither of us won. So like it wasn't. So I think that kind of took the edge off of this is super OP. You got to nerf it right now. Whereas winning 6 of the 8 big events over the weekend and being top placing and all the other ones and stuff is like, okay, so this is clearly an issue.
Right.
And they responded well, in my opinion.
Yeah. For what happened, what apparently happened, it seems similar to what happened with the Gene Stealer cult FAQ. For those that remember,
it was on purpose. They trolled us.
No, you
and
know
I
what?
fully 100% approve, and I think they should do it again in the future. It was
I don't
hilarious.
Think they did because
I liked it.
That requires planning, and I don't.
I have faith.
It's
I have
that,
faith.
it's that
My
old
faith in
saying,
GW is restored today. Why you have to try to break it down again?
It's that old saying, you can't don't apply to.
Don't attribute to malice what can be adequately explained by stupidity.
Yes, and that's more or less where we're
I
at.
don't have any malice today.
No, you don't.
I said
It was a good day.
I said today.
It was a good day as I paint my last executioner turret.
Nice.
God, we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Because that involves the FAQs.
Mm-hmm.
So in case you haven't noticed, Danny, I put sold his soul, but you can't really sell a soul if you don't have one.
Yeah,
But
even if I did and like the trade value, I'd still be coming out ahead.
you would until today.
No, even today, still coming away ahead.
Well,
For the value of my soul, hell yeah.
okay. Well,
That's a trap buy right there.
Yeah.
Nice.
But
Got
Danny
it.
is going full Iron Hands with the triple executioner list.
Yep.
And Danny can attest it is a good list.
Mhm.
Yes, very strong.
And then today, like I mentioned, there was the double whammy of the two, just like GSC. They came out with an FAQ that really only affected one type of army build.
Yeah, the character one.
Yeah, the Dreadnought character one. And then a couple hours later, they decided, oh no, we meant this one.
Yeah.
And came out with the full FAQ, I guess, which affected a lot more units and stratagems. And
Yep.
so, if you haven't heard already, you probably heard what most of the nerfs are in regards to. Danny, you want to go over them real quick? Since it
Yeah,
affected
sure.
your
So-
army?
yeah, since it's literally like kills my build. Well, it doesn't kill it. It just really lowers like how strong it is. But you've got a
Or how easy it is.
so yeah, how easy it is. So Farios, he loses the 5++ to everybody. It becomes a 5++ just to infantry, which is weird. So that kind of hurts. So that really lowers the resilience.
Are you
of the
telling me Iron
executioner
Hands
list.
aren't known for their infantry?
Yeah, no, I mean, maybe it's a new, retcon.
Mhm.
Ironstone goes down to one vehicle that you choose at the start of your enemy shooting phase, which is again one of those like.
Can you see the chat?
Yeah.
Is Sante 13 says Iron Hand nerfs were fine. Only one that was dumb was Pharaoh's nerf. Tech Marines the buff infantry is retarded.
Yeah, it's a little odd.
Yeah, I agree. It's odd.
Little odd. I mean, honestly, I think with that, a more elegant solution that sticks to the fluff is to have his aura be instead of a 5++, of reroll like feel no pain rolls of 1 for vehicles within 6 or whatever, right?
Something,
like,
yeah.
Some increase in survivability, but realistically not much, but
Right.
still something.
Yeah, that would have been nice. More elegant, but I don't think they've had the time for elegant.
Yeah.
They wanted
So
to get out
let's see,
in front of this.
Ironstone down. So now it's only 1. So if you run the Falchion build or like a Thunderhawk super heavy build, then it's still fine. But if
Or
you
an
run 3
Astraeus.
executioners or Astraeus still sucks, so it's not even worth it. At least the
Danny
Falchion does work.
I just want
Earlier today,
to see
Danny was
somebody
looking
do
for
it. That's what I'm
Danny was
saying.
looking for a Thunderhawk.
Yeah, if I could find a Thunderhawk, because I could swap a Thunderhawk for my 3 executioners and make the points work, I absolutely would.
What's wrong with you?
It'd also be even easier to play while probably highly intoxicated at SoCal. So, what else? The psychic power nerf got up to, or the psychic power, the nerfing of psychic power got up to 2 CP, which is fine. That makes sense. It shouldn't have been 1 CP. The Overwatch a 4+.
But what is it for the other armies?
It's 1 CP.
Then why change it for Iron Hands?
I think it's just because it covered a weakness that they didn't. It covered like the one real weakness they have, which is you don't have a lot of psychic defense. And so I get it. They still get that, but they pay a premium when, like, with Khorne, that's kind of Khorne's shtick. With Black Templars, that's their shtick. Right. Like,
what?
With sisters.
Who?
Yeah.
What's a Black Templar?
I don't know. Someone who used to exist.
Tom's not here.
That's not a thing. Black Templars are not a thing.
Dude, I am not a fan
and I don't
of
think
Black
they're going to be a thing.
You know
I
what?
think that they're going to write into the Imperial Fist book that the Black Templars were wiped out. The entire crusade got swallowed by the Maelstrom.
With when they were following Celestine.
Yeah, they just get swallowed up.
Right.
Boom, done, dead.
Right.
She sacrifices them to the warp.
The more hilarious thing would be is that you can only play them if you're running an SOB army. You get to take a few Space Marine units, but they have to be Black Templar with these chapter tactics.
But the old book.
Yeah.
You have to use
That would
the
be
10 Black
hilarious.
Templars out of the old book with your Sisters of Battle. I want it. Let's do it.
Yeah. The
Clearly, GW
Nuka psychic power
listens to
got
what we
nerfed.
say because after all of my memes came out, they put out an FAQ.
Yes,
So,
John, it's because of
I'm
you.
taking
Ergo
credit.
post hoc proctor hoc.
Man, I love that Latin phrase. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah. So clearly, John is the one responsible for the new IH for IH FAQ 2.0.
God.
I am.
Don't feed
That's
it.
saved
Don't, please
the
don't
game.
feed.
All of my wonderful memes up there. I'm
Don't
taking
feed.
credit for that.
Do not feed.
And if you sign up
It
for
was
our
me.
Patreon,
I
Salty
will-
John will make memes for you.
I will take
maybe.
your donations for having done you a service with my memes today and getting GW to release a second FAQ when they didn't release a full
My
one,
favorite one is the cake one.
for sure. Yes, the cake one's in there.
Yeah, that's what I just saw. That's
the
what
cake one
my
is good.
for almost anything going on. The cake one's always a good format.
Yeah, yeah. I try not to use the oldest formats too much, but I had to use that one. It was too good. As soon as I was like scrolling through, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to use this one. I have to use this format.
Yeah.
It's too good to miss.
You were right to do it.
Yeah, it was pretty great. So
Yeah, and the dog in the fire with it's fine was probably appropriate for.
I post all this stuff usually on the Salty John page. So there's a Salty John Facebook page.
Yeah, surprise, surprise. There's a page devoted to himself.
To me.
To be fair, he's had that for a long time. So he's
Right, but
committed.
it used to be something else. But that's not around.
The
anymore,
blog,
so-
yeah, it used to be the blog's Facebook page.
Yeah, but now it's the Salty John,
Well,
which
'cause
probably has
nobody-
got a lot more
nobody
traffic than
does
it's ever had.
Blogs. Anymore.
Blogs?
Well, I mean, we all write for this company that's a blog, but the blog is an entrance to the site with the store. Like, so it's like, Frontline Gaming's blog is like it's to drive sales.
Right.
Yeah.
And the other
Drive
blog
traffic.
was just a blog that we made no money off of. Sort of like this show
Yep.
and my memes. I do a lot of shit for free.
You do. I was hoping you'd never
High
realize
quality
that.
memes.
But there was one more.
The Overwatch. The Overwatch on a 4+ track got put up to 2 CP as well.
Oh, right.
That's still
And-
not bad. I mean, come on.
No,
No,
yeah,
it's still
You're
great.
still going to use it if you're playing Iron Hands.
Yeah.
Which nobody
Yes.
is. They're all going to switch to White Scars or Raven Guard now.
Oh, I'm playing Iron Hands for at least
There's
one
going
more
to be
week.
a lot of black and silver salamanders running around.
Yes, sir.
Well, they missed the cutoff for.
I don't mean at SoCal. I'm just saying there's going to be a
SoCal,
lot of them
so.
in the future.
Yeah.
LVO is
In
going to be
general,
full
there
of
will be a
black
lot.
and silver salamanders, Imperial Fists.
Yep. Yeah, that's going to be, I think, the more common is the Imperial Fist.
Yeah.
This is my black and silver Imperial Fist army. I don't like painting yellow.
Did you see my meme with the green spray paint can, the army banner?
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one too. That I think got more shares than any other post I've ever put on the Salty John page. And I didn't expect that. I didn't think it was that great. But it was pretty good. I get a lot of
Yeah, no,
likes, but I don't get a lot of shares. I got a lot of shares on that one.
Yeah. Well, most people don't want to admit to their hobby.
That's true. And where it got shared to was all like hobby pages. Like it didn't get shared to people's like personal feeds.
Timelines. No, of course not. And then the good night IH character dread spam army that got nerfed to just once per game.
Just one. So one. You get one.
Yeah, you get one dready who gets to be a character.
Which is still good.
Yeah, it's still great if you to protect a
And
dread.
I already have the one Leviathan dread with the storm cannon arrays for my black army.
Yep. So see, there you go.
I'm fine. It's been built for a long time.
Yeah.
Sitting around.
I think that's the main highlights of the nerf.
Yeah.
Which I think it's people are like, oh my god, Iron Hands are terrible. Like my list offensive capabilities didn't drop at all, right?
No,
it's just
It's
the
the
survivability.
survivability. Yeah. So now
Which is probably more important. I think. I
Yeah.
think the fact that you can't kill things, which was the problem with I want to say Yanari, but
there was a lot of problems with Yunari. There was not just the only one.
But I think which
Yeah.
made, like in 7th edition with Battle Company, which made that somewhat palatable, was the fact that you're killing all kinds of shit, even though you're really not doing anything.
Right.
Right.
Which
I mean,
which
if you're
felt you were.
yeah, I mean that's the thing. If you're removing models, you feel like you're playing the game. You feel
Right.
like you're interacting. When it's just like I shot my whole army at your one thing and it didn't die, and now
Hey,
it
man.
operates like it's full.
My feelings matter, okay?
No, they don't.
Hey, they do.
In circuit, no. I don't care about your feelings when we talk about the RTT.
What?
I'm
That's
looking
not very
forward to
nice.
that.
We had a perfectly amicable game that lasted
We
all
did.
10, 15 minutes.
Yes,
Fine.
we did. Spoilers. So So Danny still you're still sticking with your list, right? Because lists are due on Monday.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, unless I could like magically source a Thunderhawk or something just for the lulls. Gonna play what I have built, and
Yeah.
really it becomes, if I go first, nothing really changes. If I go second, I mean, really, I have to really be careful about deployment. And with my list, I have so much shooting at 72 inches, like really deploy far back, right? Like try to use my range advantage rather than just like, well, I'll survive. It'll be fine.
Right. No. Yeah. No. And like I said, we'll talk more of that when we get to SoCal Open about because Danny and I are going along with Tom, who's also. I don't know what Tom's taking. Because after
Tom's
the nerf,
taking his
keeping it ultramarine?
No, I think he's going
successor
an Iron Hand successor chapter.
Okay, because I know he was wavering.
Yeah,
I think he did.
His list doesn't work as Ultramarines without Chronos.
Oh right, because he wouldn't be able to use Chronos.
Yeah,
at least the way he wanted to, because of that FAQ that didn't allow Chronos to go into the Scorpius Whirlwinds.
Yes. And, in his list, that's his main offensive punch, are those Scorpius. So, we'll see. And I think a teammate, Dom, made a very good point that Raven Guard just like flying under the fucking radar.
Yeah, well,
so stealthy they can't get nerfed.
We have a local player that was playing Raven
won the
Guard
league.
that won the league with 18 Assault Centurions as Raven Guard. So
wait, Tim won?
Yeah, he beat Nikhil.
Huh. When was that posted?
Like
today.
20 minutes ago, I think.
Was it during my hiatus on the internet?
I guess so.
I don't know. I don't notice when you're gone.
That's not true. You miss me when I'm gone.
I can't miss you if I don't notice you. If I don't even know.
You notice. You just pretend.
He notices.
Sure.
Yeah. He's playing hard to get. It's fine.
He's playing hard.
Always. Adam's the hardest one to get.
Adam's very coquettish that way.
Nice.
So speaking of the RTT,
yes,
John and I played at this weekend's RTT at our local store.
Mm-hmm.
I believe we had 16 players, and I think we only had one Iron Hands player.
Yeah, it was one,
and that was Danny Kwan with his Falchion.
Who almost won, if not for epic shock attack guns.
Yes, spoilers. So Orcs won the tournament. I took the list I'm basically taking to SoCal Open, which is Mortarion, 3 Disco Lords, the Tyrant, Chaos Knight Tyrant, 2...
The Castellan version, not the Valiant version.
Oh, right, the Castellan version. I forget that it's the same name for both.
Yes.
But basically the Chaos Castellan, the 2 C-Beams, and then 3 squads of 5 Red Corsairs. The Disco Lords and the 3 squads of 5 and the C-Beams are all Red Corsairs. Because I need the command points. Otherwise, I would start with 4 command points instead of 8. And it does make a difference.
Absolutely.
So we'll go through mine really quick. We'll actually go through my first 2 games. First game was actually against the Taunar, which was kind of weird because my opponent was so afraid of Mortarion and the Disco Lords, and it was mission number 3 where it's the diamond, and we had Hammer and Anvil, but there was no place to hide where the objectives were. So he didn't put
because it was Crucible, right, or whatever it's called.
It's the one where
diamond where like there's never stuff,
or the cross or whatever.
Yeah,
it's
the cross. Yeah,
and the objectives are out in the open in this particular table.
In many tables they are, except for the middle one, because a lot of the time it's like perfectly spaced so that it's not near what is the standard format for terrain.
Right? Yeah. So he didn't put any models on the objective near him because he was afraid they were going to get killed by anything that I had. So what ended up happening in that game is that for the first 4 turns I got hold more. So I would hold 1 and I would hold more.
Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't get hold 1 because he wasn't holding any objectives because he was tucked behind an L.
Yeah.
And he couldn't deny me the hold more. So as the game progressed, I failed a few charges, but early on, I didn't kill his Townar. I killed a bunch of other stuff. At the end of the game, I had my 3 squads of 5 Marines left, and that was it. And he had his Townar and some Firewar. He has a bunch of stuff left, but because he didn't move out soon enough, I ended up winning that game by 2 points. So in that case, it's like, yeah, you guys are going to die, but you'll at least be able to earn that point for that turn and deny me a point.
Yeah.
Which was the lesson for that game. I think he ended up going 1-2 or 2-1 the whole day. At the end of the day, second game was against an Eldar player with 2 flyers. Again, Hammer and Anvil again. I went first in the first game, and I went first in this game. In the first game, I was very aggressive because I know I could make that charge no matter where he went, and I did. The problem is I didn't actually make the charge. In this game, I made the charge, but I think I was too aggressive early, and so I went to him piecemeal, and he just picked everything off as they approached. I ended up losing that game like 33-19 or something like that. And then, John, why don't you go through your first 2 games, and then we'll talk about the third game.
Sure. So I took Chaos, and I took Chaos Knights with Red Corsairs. So I had a Castellan. I took the Tyrant too, just because. And I took a Castigator, and I took a Chaos Double Gat with Ironstorm launchers on top. And then I also took Red Corsairs with double Masters of Execution and 3 squads of 5 Chaos Space Marines, so I can have the 17 CPs to start off with. The Warlord was the Castigator, and pretty much every game I made the Castigator the Missile Knight. So I gave him the Dreadblade pack where you roll, and every game I rolled to give him the 2-inch movement. I rolled a 1, 2, or 3 each game, which is super lucky. And then I also make sure they get Quicksilver Throne of Slanesh, and is there one other thing that makes them fast? I don't remember. But so there was always like additional charge distance, additional advanced distance. But the Castigator already moves 14 inches on its own, so when you add 2 inches to it, 16 inches is insane for a model that big. And then, so I played my first round was against another Chaos player who also had Chaos Knights and had Chaos Marines, but he was running Cultists and Demon Prince with the Corn Axe of Fuck You. And then he also had a patrol of demons, Bloodletters that Deep Struck. And so that game, I got the first turn, and on the first turn, he didn't rotate his Ion Shields on the night that I put Kingslayer on, and I wiped that out and got Kingslayer first turn, and he was down a night, and so that put him on the back foot, and so that game was kind of a downhill for him after that. But he definitely realized he needed to rotate his Ion Shields for 1 CP as soon as I said I was shooting that one night with the Castellan. So I won that one. My second game was against our teammate, Richard Cozart, and he was running Astra Militarum, and he had a bunch of infantry platoons. He had 2 of the Demo cannon battle tanks. Demolishers, right?
He had 1 Demolisher and 1 Relic battle cannon.
No, he had 2 Demolishers.
Oh, then he had 2 Demolishers and one with a Relic.
Yes, and 1 with a Relic battle cannon. Then he also had Pask.
Okay.
And then he outflanked the 1 Demolisher, which in our game, it didn't matter that he outflanked it other than it kept him safe. But there was some good terrain on that table to hide stuff behind, contrary to what people who saw pictures thought. There were these big wall L things. And if you can hide a tank from a Castellan behind the wall, that's good terrain.
Yeah.
You know? So he was able to hide out of line of sight from the Castellan for the first turn. I was able with the Dubgat and the Castigator shooting because it was pointy hammer and anvil, I believe.
Yeah.
And so I was able to get the Castigator right up into his lines. I cleared out all the chaff, and the Castigator on the first turn charged his Bulgrins and killed every Bulgrin. just wiped out the whole unit. Because the sword is, you take Iconoclast, and then I took the Warlord trait, Eager for the Kill. That's where I get the additional advance and charge, the other one. So that's why it's 2 advance, 2 to charge. And then that gives you an additional attack if you're in the enemy's deployment zone. So you're already talking about the knight that's 4 attacks base, +1 for Iconoclast, +1 for Eager for the Kill, and I'm in his zone, so that's 6 attacks. But the Castigator's sword is, for every attack you get, you make 2 swings. So I'm swinging 12 times. I was hitting on 3s, and then I hit like with basically everything. And then because the strength is +6, it's just, and it's damage 3. It's a straight damage 3 when you wound. So it's just cleaving through his Bulgrins. I might have killed 1 or 2 Bulgrins in shooting, or maybe 1, I don't remember, but it was not many. Because I think I had to shoot the Bulgrins with the Castellan because I had no other target, if I remember right. Because of the way the terrain was. And that put him on the back foot, but he was able to slowly whittle things down because of the amount of shooting his tanks had, and because his tanks could move out from the cover, shoot, and then move back.
Yeah, because they were Talaran.
Talaran. So he could move his demos out and the Relic Battle Cannon one out, fire, and then move back into cover where I couldn't see it anymore. And so he killed the Castigator, no problem. And his second turn, he killed the Castellan, no problem. And then the Dub Backgat got wiped out the same way on the third turn, and that was the game. Because all I had at that point was 2 Masters of Execution and Marines. So I just hit in the back corners, getting some hold objectives. And then he just moved over to me and hit. That army is fast because the tanks can move, and then he can also do. He's got plenty of company commanders to move because each one of the tanks is a tank commander, so it orders itself. So it's deceptively fast to get across the board.
In this edition, tank commanders are to order themselves.
Yes. So, and even if he wasn't, the tank commanders are all next to each other pretty much anyways, if you want them to be. So you just order them. So it was a good game. It was close, even if the final score didn't necessarily reflect that, because it was, I think he got somewhere in the low 30s and I got 18 or 19 maybe, something like that. So those were my first 2.
He ended up going 3-0, but Jeff, who everyone knows from Focus Fire podcast, he had more battle points than Richard did. So Richard came in second. Third game was myself and John. Basically, John got to go first because he cheated.
No, because I rolled the dice with the +1.
Did you have a +1?
I had the +1. I deployed all my units.
Oh, yeah. You actually had less models in units.
Yeah.
Basically, I had set mine up in the middle. My Disco Lords in the middle. We were playing. It was just Dawn of War, wasn't it? Or Pointy Dawn of War?
No, it was just regular old Dawn of War.
Was it? I don't even remember.
Yeah.
And I just put my Disco Lords up front, Mortarion in back. John was basically straight across from me. John ran up the middle. Your Castigator, right?
Yeah, the Castigator
makes it into combat with 2 of the Disco Lords. Now,
oh, that's right. In my first game, he had Disco Lords too. He had 2 of them, and I made the same mistake in that game that I made in this one, which is I split attacks from the Castigator between the 2, thinking, I'll be able to do it, and then inevitably somebody makes a save of some type, and I don't get to do it.
Well, what happened was before that, just for my Castellan, I took the 4+ Invulnerable, and then I paid 2 command points to give him the ability where you can only wound him on 4s.
Right.
Which really was clutch in the game of John, because when John shot his Castellan at mine, he only caused 4 or 5 wounds? It was something really low. Okay. Well, Danny's falling over there.
Yeah, that's my cat.
Do you need your life alert? Press your life alert.
No, my cat has decided to go apeshit and just ran into a wall.
Wonderful. Beautiful. Glorious.
Yeah. Graceful creatures, truly.
Truly.
God's dancers. Can't stop on a linoleum.
Oh, God, cats.
All right.
So John runs forward. what I think you should have done, John, was maybe kill the instead of shooting your Castellan at mine was to kill the.
I should have killed Mortarion or the Disco Lords. Either
the
one.
Disco Lords, because then you could have gotten straight to Mortarion.
Yeah, I should have done one of those two things so that I could either assault the Disco Lords and make the correct choice in how to target them, or kill the Disco Lords with the Castellan and the Dubgats and Castigator cannons, and then go after Morty with the Castigator. But
I think you made the right choice when you split the attack because you killed the one.
Yeah.
The first 6, and then the other one you kind of flubbed.
Yeah.
I think I made like a save or two that kept them alive.
You did, yes.
So
I flubbed the roll, and then you also made the saves that you needed to make. So
yeah. So on my, and this is still top of 1.
Oh yeah.
So on my bottom of 1, I had enough distance to put Mortarion in the middle of all 3 knights. Yes. And one of the abilities of Mortarion is all units within
play
7 inches are -1 toughness. Yeah. So now all the knights are toughness 7, and with the shooting and the attacks that I have, they're much easier to wound.
Oh, way easier.
So my warlord, Disco Lord kills the Castigator. My Castellan kills his Castellan, and then Mortarion kills the third Dubgat, or he kills the Dubgat, and then the rest. We just basically talk through the rest of the game because at that point, John has only 17 models left, and they're all strength and toughness 4.
Yep.
And I have stuff that moves fast and can get to them relatively fast. So
game.
I think the setup was longer than the actual game.
Oh yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
So I ended up 2-1.
Will you give me a ride home?
Yes. We still had 2 hours left in the round.
We did, yeah. We had a full 2 hours.
I did give John a ride home and then came back to the store.
Yeah. Which is not far. If you haven't heard me say it before, I only live like 4 something blocks from the store.
Yeah. So I ended up in 4th place, missing 3rd by about 8 points. Mm-hmm. So it was good. I played 2 subsequent league games with the list, and the list is very resilient, and it gives a lot of people. They have to make a choice as to what to shoot at because everything in the list moves kind of fast. That can hurt people.
So. Right. Yeah.
And
how are you liking the Iconoclast Castellan with the Vow and the Veil?
It's good. I played the same thing.
Yeah, with John against John and against something like a faction or even the repulsors, it's really good.
Yeah.
You know, when I tell people they can only wound on 4, they're like, "What?" They like, because they're used to wounding on 2s or 3s.
I like in a game where they have a character that really needs to not die. I give him the Vow, the Dreadblade Vow, for reroll against characters in Titanics. And then I use the Strat to snipe with the missile. Reroll to hit with the missile. Because that way then I don't have to spend the CPs to reroll to hit with it if I don't need to that turn. Because a lot of the times those buff characters, like you were talking about like orcs, where the Castellan's like, whatever, why would I reroll to hit with my Castellan? Reroll to hit with my Dubgat or the Castigator's cannon. So yeah, it's way better to be able to like snipe something out and use the Dreadblade thing if you can.
Yeah, so credit to where credit is due. Danny's the one that made the list for me, basically.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I didn't want to do Tim's list where it's only 5 models, but at the same time I needed the durability, and I still wanted to use Mortarion because I'd bought and had someone paint Mortarion for me. But I didn't want to put together because I have a falchion, but I haven't put it together yet, and then I didn't want to rush putting it together because it's kind of a bitch to put together. Because no one wants to put it together for me. Who put one together?
Nope.
Not at all.
So Danny helped out, and we figured out the Castellan would be good because it has a natural invulnerable save, and that the Red Corsairs is good because I get the extra CPs. And having them all advance and charge, I don't get the proc for all the time, only against Imperials, but it still proved pretty good. And for Lord Draconis, Iron Hand was in the final for our RTT, but they lost to Orcs because our Orc player's shock attack guns rolled extremely well for 1 turn, and it was enough to kill the Falchion because he was running an Iron Hand's Falchion, and I believe he'll be at SoCal Open.
Yeah.
Yep.
KR Quinn says the Chaos Knights are for real. The Chaos Knight Lit Disco Lord combo is good, and yes, they are. And to be fair, I don't run the best Chaos Knight list. Like, the Castigator's fine. It's really good in combat. But if I was serious about like doing really well, I would run the 3 double Meltas and Disco Lords in my
Yeah.
Red Corsairs. Like, but I don't, one, have any Disco Lords, and two, don't want to buy any. And I also have all the bits to make the Melta stuff, but I've been playing Knights for
Almost
2.5 years
Wow.
now.
Yeah, you
Or
haven't
something.
stopped, right?
Yeah, like I haven't, like I went from Imperial Knights to Chaos Knights.
Yeah,
So
nothing
I'm
in
a-
between.
Yeah, I'm a little burned out on building knights, so I think I've just been playing with what I have, which is not bad, but like it's not optimal. So there's definitely a much better version of Chaos Knights that you can run, and I'm just not running it. It's good though. Like I was fine in our league. I won I think 2 or 3 games in the league with it. Not, and I basically I didn't tailor. I just played the same basic lists for everybody. I ran a castigator or 2 actually in most of the lists. And 2 castigators sounds great on paper, but it's not great in reality. So
So yeah, talking about our league. In addition to the RTT, our league ended or is ending this week.
yeah, I
I've
stayed in
played-
pod 3.
I think we've played all our games, right?
I believe everybody
I
has.
have. Yeah.
Danny fell short in pod 1, which is the top
Yep.
pod.
I got second.
So we got
That
second.
is respectable.
I actually got second in pod 3, going 4-1. My loss being to the first place, who went 5-0. Congratulations to Casey. And then John was just enough to stay out of the lowest pod.
Yeah, I can find the overall standings, but I can't find the main doc anymore.
It's in the announcements part on the league page. Just click see all.
so hard.
Click see all announcements, John. Old man. Old man John.
I don't see all
And then
announcements.
oh my God! There's where it says announcement. There's a little thing on the right hand side that says on that post that says see all, and it's right there.
I'm seeing it right now.
Thank you.
What did you want me to look up, John?
Ooh, just what I finished. Oh wait, I see it. Never mind. I got it.
I think
You
you're like,
finished 2 and 3 with 90 battle points.
and how many? What
I was
place
talking about my
in?
place. Oh, 6th.
Oh, sixth
Six.
of 10.
Yeah, so I get to stay in pod 3. Perfect.
So he
Yep.
barely made it. C's get degrees.
I get to stay in pod 3, and then I get to play Space Marines and win my way to pod 1.
I'll move up the pod. Oh no, we're doing it different this year.
Yeah. We're doing like the half.
Oh, I don't pay
tournament,
attention. I
half
just play the
bracket
games.
system.
I just do it.
Yeah.
I just do what Jeff tells me to do. Jeff goes, "Hey, a league is starting." And I go, "Cool, I'm in." And then
I'm in.
And then like 2 weeks into it, I'm like, "Wait, what the fuck's going on around here?
Okay, well this
What
one you
is
actually
this?
have
Who
to
am I
play-
playing? I'm in a
this one you have
pod.
to
What the hell's a
actually play your
pod?
opponent.
Am I a seed?
In
I
this
don't
one, you have to
understand.
actually play your assigned opponent. So
Okay. And it's like 10 days, right? You have 10 days to
yeah,
play.
you have 10 days to play.
It's
and
being
then
run
after
like
that,
a GT over the course of like a month and a half, right?
like 3 months or something. It's
Yeah,
for,
whatever.
it basically
It doesn't matter,
goes
whatever. Right.
goes through the end of the year.
Yeah.
This is our
Yep.
end of the year finals or what.
Yeah, it's
And
it's all during all the holiday time, so like who cares?
Yeah.
we're you've got plenty of time. You got to do your thing, and that's that. So cool.
You have 10 days to play a game, essentially.
Yeah, I think most people should be able to handle that. And if you can't, well,
Yeah.
you can't. Whatever. We have lives. This is a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
None of us are retiring from it because we're professionals.
All right. So that was our RTT and our I'm probably switching armies for the league.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I will be. Well, maybe. We'll see.
I forget when the league starts. Depends
Keep
when it
playing
starts.
those sweet, sweet Iron Hands.
I might. Well, if I can get the stuff to do, I might stay Imperium. So, because I really want to switch over to White Scars and fuck around with that.
Right, right.
But I need to get the models and I want to do the conversions and all that kind of stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
that's going to take me time. So I might have to just play like Knights and Sisters or something until I get that going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because NIDs aren't going to get anything good in 60 days. So I don't know. Punish myself.
Like, who is it? Dominic posted that picture in the chat of all this Space Marine shit he has to build in 7 days, and I'm like, yo, good
Oh yeah. For,
freaking luck.
SoCal Open. He can do it. I mean,
Dom can do it.
He's got a job, right?
He does, but Dom's also was a hardcore War Machine player, and trust me, no
Yeah,
one can
that's
build
true.
and paint an army if they
Faster
even
than
paint
War
it.
Machine
But no one
players.
can build an army faster than a War Machine player. It was
Um,
competitive.
Maybe me.
That's true.
I'm pretty damn fast.
Yeah.
So that was our RTTN league. It was a lot of fun, both of them.
Yeah,
because
I had a good
because I
time.
beat John
I was just glad I got to play in a second
Tournament
tournament
this
for the
year?
whole
in
year.
a tournament.
Well, I played in Barry Open, but I haven't played in an RTT all year. This is my first one. I might even be able to make November. There's currently nothing on the calendar.
Oh, are you going to play?
I might be able to do November.
That'd be fun if I can do that. So
You can do the
Yeah,
night challenge.
I'd like to play the November tournament.
we'll see.
John.
Had all three of us at a tournament. That hasn't happened in a long
It hasn't happened since like 2004,
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
which is sad on many levels.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, my trip to SoCal will be my first ever super major since I think the last like 100+ tournament I attended. I think was like a fucking like LA Games Day.
Right. Yeah. Dang. Lord Jacona says
time.
Lord Jacona says he thought he would get tired at the shots at the retirements, but nope, still funny.
It will never not be funny.
Yeah. I mean, there isn't going
Just
to be
like
an
people-
accompanying rant because, we're positive on this podcast. We're not going to be all super salty about everything going on. So,
No,
There's no
it's just like making fun of people who are like, if this doesn't change, I'm just going to stop playing. Or I never
Yeah.
go to tournaments, but here's how you should run yours.
yes. Oh my
Right.
God, that's the worst. My favorite thing is there are some really, really salty podcasts that came out like yesterday and the day before, all about Iron Hands and stuff, and just being super angry about it. And they definitely aged well.
Yeah.
In the light of the FAQ that came out today, they aged really well.
Oh my God.
Again, it
know
was
what? I'm not a game designer, but I'm going to tell you how to do this game.
Yeah.
exactly.
Um,
I have no background in game theory at all, and I can't even do basic math. But let me tell you how to run this complex mathematical call a game.
Yes, it's true.
positive. I'm positive though.
I am.
None
Hey,
of this is
again,
negative. We're giving positive feedback to these people that they should, maybe take a seat.
Whatever. You do podcasts to put out your opinions, right or wrong.
I just find it hilarious that they were all super, super salty.
Yeah.
And some of the ones that aren't even usually like that were like that.
Right.
And then it's
I mean,
like
that's
the
the
FAQ
thing
comes
is-
out and it's like, oh, look, bet you wish you waited a day.
Well, I mean, that's the thing too. It's one thing to be like, again, I'm someone who was, writing the jank for a while. Like, it's
A while.
okay. It's okay to say like IH was too strong, right? It's okay to point out like this is too efficient. This is too efficient. This is too efficient, right?
Yeah,
Like,
but
I think
making
that's
demands
but
and
like
stuff,
people
come
were
on.
getting like really upset of like talking about quitting the game or taking a break and all this kind of stuff. When it's like, I don't know, maybe it is because I've been playing this game for several decades, but I'm just like,
Yeah.
this is what happens. It's
It
fine,
is.
right? Like adapt. I mean, that's for me is again the biggest problem, and I am on Iron Hands. Pre-nerf was too
Right.
good, but there's still the reality of like anytime you get a new army that introduces an archetype that is not common, right, into the meta that's actually really good, it's going to skew things even more, right? Like it's just how many people saw executioners before, right? Like they're really good. How many people saw Whirlwinds and Thunderfire Cannon like en masse? And it's like people kind of didn't expect to see that kind of gun line that can just put
Yeah.
out that much heat.
And,
pretty much since Gilliman gun line in early
Yeah.
8th, right? And people weren't building for that.
And,
So we have
yeah.
lists that,
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, because Lord Draconis brings up a good point, and when I was thinking about in that,
Yeah.
and it's with kind of John, it's like, so people were upset because of soup.
right.
Yes.
We had the vote, and they want mono.
Yes.
GW more or less answers these people wishes and gives us mono.
Yes.
GW
Right.
gave us mono.
That's a good one.
This is why you don't share glasses, kids.
But it's true. They give you mono faction, a very, very strong mono faction, and then the same
now-
people are
and now-
crying
and now
and gnashing their teeth.
Yeah, and now
Right.
people are upset about the mono faction benefit.
Well, that's the thing. It's like you can't
It's funny.
to make mono factions good. You have to make them strong,
Yes.
Yes.
right? Like so, people are like, "Give us mono factions. Soup is bad." Okay,
Yeah.
here's a mono faction capable of beating soup. It's too good.
No, not like that. It's like those memes, like the protest memes. Like, hey, you need to learn how to protest. You shouldn't kneel during this, and you shouldn't do that. Okay, well, I'm going to do this, and it's totally like inane and not innocuous. No, I don't mean like that. Don't do that. Like that's exactly what this is. Hey, we need monofaction. No, I didn't mean like that. I meant you needed to do it the other way that I want you to do it.
I think part of it also is I think people need to. I know this FAQ took longer than normal.
Right.
Can't imagine why.
Yeah.
But I think people do need to be a bit more patient in terms of waiting for the FAQ, because we know now it's already been like 2.5 years in 8th edition.
I mean, people need to just be more patient in general, right?
Well, I'm just saying because compared to the past, there was no FAQ. Remember when GW
Yes.
just didn't do FAQs?
Yes.
But
Well,
now they told us this time, here's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And they've been, maybe a little late at times and not as early in a month as we would like. But they've been keeping their promise, I suppose, in terms of giving us what we want, in terms of an FAQ. A little late, but better late than never.
It's guaranteed that every September I'm going to get to make the memes making fun of people because they're like, where's my September FAQ? And it's like September 10th.
Or September 2nd.
I'm sorry, but even if it's September 22nd, it's still September. Like, your FAQ's coming. Relax. It was in September. Was it the end? Yes. But like a little bit of patience. But people aren't patient. Like, it's the internet age. Nobody's patient. Right. Although I have a sneaky suspicion people weren't patient prior to the internet age either.
Well, now it's more out there.
It's just now we have to hear each other talk about it all the time.
Yeah, true.
Now we have to hear each other talk, unfortunately.
Oh, I should have put the "What makes you think I want to hear you talk" meme in.
Oh yeah,
I had that one,
That's
and I should have put that one in there.
Yeah,
so perfect.
So I think, but some people, because they want to keep to a podcast schedule, usually they have to put even if the FAQ wasn't going to come out, and I'm going to be honest, if the FAQ hadn't come out, I would have trouble trying to not talk about Iron Hands or Space Marine, but in terms of how they've been doing in the
we do have other Space Marines now to talk about, even if the FAQ hadn't dropped.
We do. I suppose the tone of this podcast episode might have been different had it not come out, but also might not have, because were we all on board that it was too powerful? Yes. Yeah. But were we going to whine about it? No.
No. I would just keep.
I'd just make memes.
I would just keep playing rolling dice, and then.
Maybe that's what people need to do. They need to get good at making memes to vent.
If everyone does that, then you're out of your uniqueness.
Whatever.
No, because no one can measure up to John's memes.
Don't feed it. Don't.
See, because it bothers you, Adam. I feed his ego.
Just don't feed it.
It's true. It's true. Hey man, one of my best ones isn't even in the loop.
According to you.
No, according to a lot of people, that one's pretty dang good.
Which one is it?
The one that calls out a very specific person.
Oh yeah.
That one's freaking gold.
Speaking of more Space Marines.
Yes. Salamanders!
And
it's right down the screen right now. My Salamanders.
Space Marine chapter.
Space Marines are best Space
Marines. For those
Marines.
that don't know, there used to be was it a kid?
It was a kid.
Was it a young adult?
It was a kid.
It was a young adult. It was a kid. They were like 12, maybe 13.
Okay. Who loved salamanders.
Loved salamanders. Like, I love salamanders. This kid loved him some salamanders.
And John, if you haven't listened to the episodes before, John loves salamanders.
I do love salamanders. Yes. They are the only people in the whole universe of 40K who might be able to be construed to be good.
Right.
Good's a relative term. They're not good.
Especially in the grim darkness of the 41st millennium. But they are And Vulcan is like a good person as a Primarch.
Yeah.
Right.
The other Primarchs are all kind of various degrees of dickheads.
Yeah.
But Vulcan is like a legit good person.
Like, I just want people to live good, happy lives, and I don't,
I want to provide. Like, he's the farmer mark.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, it's the argument against salamanders is they still work for the Imperium, a theocratic fascist government.
Right.
But at the end of the day, they're also like, because it's so big, it's like, well, they kind of just handle this whole sector where it's like, you really only want to be born in two places if you have to exist in the Grimdark. And that's either
it's Ultramar
or Nocturne.
and even then, your existence on Nocturne is not going to be anywhere near as nice as it is on Ultramar. But at least on Nocturne, you are going to be protected by people who actually care about you.
Right. Who will actually try to save you rather than like, it's fine.
Yeah. So
that school's on fire. Am I purging heretics on there now?
Yeah. Yeah. It always seems to be a slightly different priority in the 41st millennium for pretty much everybody other than the good of the people, unless you are talking about the salamanders.
Right. What is it? GW put it up. There was one comic. I guess it's a new comic strip they're doing. I enjoyed it just because it's, this little girl being rescued and the Salamander Space Marine being like, It's like, I'm sorry, child. No one else survived but us. It's like, but don't worry, we shall protect you.
Mm-hmm.
We shall provide you shelter.
Yep.
And then the Black Templar's like, how many Xenos can it kill?
Yeah, exactly. There was in one of the Eisenhorn books, the last Eisenhorn book, where everything goes wrong at the parade.
Right.
There's the scene where there's like a bunch of psychers who are captured, and they were like being marched through the city in ancient Roman style parade, and something happens and the psychers break out, and there's a scene where there's a salamander carrying a little girl. And the little girl is one of the psychers, and nobody knows it, but he's trying to protect her, and she takes over his mind, and he kills like two of the Inquisitor's bodyguards and like somebody else because he was trying to help out this little girl. And I was like, dang, why you gotta do the salamanders like that?
Yeah, I know. No good deed goes unpunished.
Like, of course, he's just trying to be a legit good guy because that's what they are. But that's what happened.
But flamers.
Yes,
flamers. Salamanders.
Flamers should melt the guns.
Imperial Fist.
Nobody cares about Imperial Fist.
No, a bunch of Iron Hand players are now.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of black and silver Iron Hands coming up.
Yeah, when all of a sudden your executioners are most of their firepower is damaged too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh my god. And ignore cover.
Yeah.
They're gonna get the nerf bad hard.
Probably.
Salamanders won't. Salamanders are fair and balanced.
Oh
yep, totally fair and balanced.
Don't need any work on them whatsoever. They're good to go.
So John's excited.
I am. I'm play Salamanders. I'm gonna play Imperium in the league, so I can play whatever I want.
Oh yeah.
From week because if I want to play some knights for fun, why not?
Yeah.
I think that'd be fun. So I have the knights. I have 2 different Space Marine armies. If I wanted to, I could very easily get a Astra Militarum battalion up and running again, since that's easy as hell.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Or you could do the Rusty 17.
Yeah, that doesn't seem as fun. I like mortars.
No, but mortars are always good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Does Lamenter's yellow contrast cover over? You know what? Lead Belcher, and when you put the contrast over Lead Belcher, it actually looks pretty cool.
Yeah, Lead
I'm
Belcher.
I'm not gonna lie. Or if you can get the plate mail from Army Painter, the super bright one. Yeah. The super bright one is much better.
There's an auto primer. There's like a Krylon bright silver auto primer that all
Krylon. That's like painting your miniatures with crayons.
Yeah, but there's one brand that it's really thin, which is nice, but it's super bright.
Could you feel my judgment through the microphone?
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay, good. Just as long as you felt it.
Hey, I'm sorry, I'm not paying $20 for a fucking canvas.
Yeah, it's actually cheaper to get those Army Painter cans at GE than it is to buy them on Amazon.
That's weird.
I think because they have to mail the cans.
Yeah, I think it's because there's something special with shipping aerosol.
Cans,
right. Mm-hmm. A potentially explosive device.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who would have thunk?
Imperial Fists are hard to paint. What you should do is a successor that's mostly black, and then what you do is over the silver, you just paint yellow over the silver edging. Yes. I've seen that. I've seen an Iron Hand successor list like that actually. It does look pretty dope.
Yeah.
If you do it wrong though, they're gonna look like bumblebees. So don't do it wrong. You have to leave the majority of the
Call it
model.
the Bumblebee package.
Yes.
Yeah, why
You have
can't
to
it be
leave the
bumble-
majority of the model
Bumblebee?
black, and then the trim and stuff is yellow. And then you have to add in some white details so that it's clearly not Bumblebee. But it does look good. If you can pull it off, it does look well. So all of you people out there, I expect to see your black with yellow trimmed Imperial Fist armies at LVO.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Don Houston, are you listening?
He's not on today.
No. I think I pissed him off.
I can never tell. So,
Well, I mean,
moving on. Are we done talking about salamanders? Anything
we
you
have a
wanna talk-
pretty large audience for the number of people I generally piss off on the internet.
I'm surprised.
I'm not. The people love me.
Okay.
Yes.
I think people rage listen to you.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
We
I mean,
already established he's the
That's
Alex.
that's
Jones.
what the Alex Jones-ish character is supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
This is performance art.
It is performance art. Because if you come and talk to me in real life, I don't act like this.
You don't talk to them. You just
Actually,
walk
I've been
by.
pretty well behaved tonight.
Yes. Because we're positive, right?
Well, yeah, because it's a good day.
Positive tonight.
The FAQ came out,
Yeah,
and
can
everything
we
we
have the
possibly
intro
wanted.
music be "Today was a good day" instead of the usual Blues Brothers?
Oh my
No.
God! Please.
Come on, man.
Who made it?
Didn't even need to use my AK. Come on.
Oh, God. Okay, I
on.
could.
Do it.
Have you
Oh,
seen that
KR
thing
Quinn
on-
says I'm great. See,
Who said that?
KR Quinn.
Banned.
No, he's my
man.
favorite. He even has a dumpster fire emoji he's using, and the dumpster fire is what color? Salamander green.
Yeah, there you go. How do I
Anything
know
you
this
want-
isn't just one of your shit posting accounts? John?
Solidarity. Because you don't hear me typing right now. You can hear when I
Like
type.
macro
You can
set.
hear when I type into the chat.
Yeah.
KR Quinn, we don't have any. We have one sponsor, and we don't even talk about it.
Oh yeah, Hammerhead Games. You guys should totally go buy stuff from Hammerhead Games. Tony's great.
.net.
Yeah, hammerheadgames.net. Tony's the
But
best.
then-
You know what? A lot of the time, Tony's in chat taking care of this for us.
Yes.
Our one sponsor, literally comes in and talks in our chat and takes care of it all for us.
Yeah. But to be fair, Tony sponsors practically 99% of the podcasts out there.
Yes, and we don't ask much from him.
We don't ask anything from him, actually. We just do it because we like Tony.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. Well, he throws us some free stuff every now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we do
we're an
generally
independent
just
podcast.
like Tony.
We're
But no,
beholden
we-
to no one.
Yeah.
We don't have big corporate gaming donors dictating our
Yeah.
our
No, we
speech.
don't.
Dick, yeah.
Obviously, we don't get stuff from GW.
Yeah, we do not
for
get anything
very
from
good
GW.
reasons.
Hey, those reasons are all Tom.
Okay, that's probably accurate.
Yes,
60-40.
it's all Tom.
You know what? I would be happy if I just knew that the reason why we didn't, not that we've ever asked, is because we know better. But I would love if we did ask one time if the reason they came back was no, because we see John's memes.
Yeah, they just send us one of your memes back as a reply.
I would at that point be able to just die a happy man. To know that they'd seen them and then know that that little grain's in there.
But see, the funnier part to it is, with all of that in mind, which I'm sure some of your memes are like, man, fuck that guy.
Of course they are.
But at the same,
some of them are
but at the
supposed to
same-
get that response.
Yeah, but at the same time, when it's like, wait, we don't understand this rules of interaction. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I as much as I saw, I do admit that John's memes have gotten things done
Yes.
when they are brought to certain people's attention.
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
And I forgot to mention we have
Our Pink
there's
Horrors
terrain.
video changed that, remember?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Our Pink Horrors video in 7th changed, it got their attention. They saw
That
it.
was so good.
I mean, that video is basically just a giant trolling meme.
Yes, it is. Or it
It
shows
was
you
a
how to
long
troll.
form meme.
It was a long form troll.
Yes, because John's memes have done good.
I fight the good
Yeah.
fight.
And on a side note, there's new terrain at the store.
Hey, look at that.
Surprise, surprise.
Good guy, meme master. A little off topic, but what do you think of the if it fits, it sits rule? Well, considering we helped come up with it, we think it's good.
Little Draconis, we helped kind of write it. Right. So it's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Just like I am convinced that King of the Hill and Pick Your Poison are great options for ITC missions, even if nobody picks them.
Those are horrible.
No, Pick Your Poison is not my fault because you guys bastardized Pick Your Poison from what I wanted it to be.
Pick Your Poison can be.
Pick Your Poison was great when I wrote it originally. And then other people got.
I was in favor of being able to stack, though. The stack that just takes the same keyword.
I do not recall, so I'm gonna go with. I probably didn't say anything, to be honest.
Or if you did, you probably just disagreed with what I wanted out of spite.
Probably.
Yeah. So. Anyway,
so the
King of the Hill is not good. I understand, but we needed another one, and we wanted an objective one, and
the fits it sits it fits, whatever the rule's called. I don't even remember.
Mm-hmm.
I think it had to be done. It was just too.
Yeah, it just makes more sense, honestly.
I'm gonna say maybe the wording was kind of off because of who wrote it, but I don't know what. It made and to be honest, usually with SoCal Open is when I guess we want to like test stuff for Nova.
Mm-hmm.
I mean Nova
LVO.
For LVO. I don't even know why I thought Nova, but because last year, and too bad Tom's not here to talk about. He's an expert on it. They had the giant when they had released the giant hangar.
Oh my gosh, that was the best.
There was one table that had it.
Favorite days ever. I was listening to that story.
And that one had a negative response, and Tom from the podcast played on it.
Yeah.
And he was not a happy camper, and he was very irate at Reese about it. Where you had to be there to see it, but it was the best.
Yeah. The magic box thing is a little overblown in that like playing with the enclosed ruins is not a big deal when it's not something as giant as the hangar.
Yeah, the hangar is just insane.
Too big. I got to fix mine. It's behind me on a chair behind this.
Oh, you took it back from the store.
Yeah, well, it fell into a million pieces. Oh, yeah, there's a bunch of pieces of cardboard with it, Adam. Is that part of the hammer?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm only bringing it up now live on like air because I will always forget if I don't now that I've talked about it, think about it.
So what happened was the hangar seemed to get such a negative response that there wasn't any hangars at the subsequent LVO.
No, there was not.
So depending how the rule works at SoCal, you may or may not see it, or may see a different version of it at LVO.
Yeah.
So if you're going to SoCal Open, let Reese know what your thoughts about it. I'm sure he's always open to criticism.
Fusehead, we did see the data from the Battles app. We just weren't going to talk about it tonight just because there's other stuff, but it's very cool data.
Yeah,
and we don't really need to run through it because like it's there for anybody to see. It's posted on Comp40K on Facebook. You can go look at it. I love the Battles app for this reason because it shows you the data on it, and that's what I was referencing earlier, where I was saying how Pick Your Poison and King of the Hill are great. Just because people don't pick them is not my fault, because they're the two least chosen.
They're the fewest chosen, though.
Yeah, and they don't give as many points either. But King of the Hill was always going to be hard to get.
Yeah. Unless you have
and Pick Your Poison needs to be reworded for next season. I feel like Pick Your Poison is this season's Gangbusters.
Yeah.
Where Gangbusters really did not work before, and now since we've reworded it, it's actually one of the more popular ones and one of the better ones to take.
And Pick Your Poison was kind of the last ones that we did, and kind of
those two were
something
the last
else.
Ones.
And so maybe those two need some work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna say John just needs to write better. That's it.
Well, in general, we all could improve in our writing, Adam. I've read some of your articles.
Yeah, but I'm not a teacher or
my articles are fine. I had a bunch of rage on my article today, and I didn't respond to any of it because I was too busy.
Too busy working.
Too busy working, and then when I wasn't working, I was making memes.
Making memes.
Yeah. I meant to go back and look. It got posted at 1 a.m. because that's when my article always gets posted, 1 a.m. Pacific time.
Oh,
and by the time I woke up at 5:30, it already had like 6 comments of people raging at me. It was pretty great. Yeah. How would I like to update Pick Your Poison? I would like for it to be...
Let it stack.
not even just let it stack, but like if you kill any psyker, you get to pick your poison. If you kill any fly one, you get to pick your poison.
So basically, you pick a keyword, not a model.
Yes, and then if you kill anything with that keyword, as long as it's not stacking with something else, because pick your poison doesn't stack. So like if you pick fly and you kill a venom, and it counts for pick your poison, then it can't also count for like a marks for death if you chose it for that or something, or like if you kill a ravager, it can't also count for pick your big game hunter.
Big game hunter.
But that's what I would like to see. In terms of the pick your poison change, I would like to see it easier to keep track of and score, because that's one of the reasons people don't like to take it. Is it's super difficult on the bookkeeping end.
Yeah, that's why I don't pick mark for death.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It also gives your opponent some control, because if you have to select a unit and be like, I need to kill that one, they can just hide it in the backfield. Right?
Cool, there's a hangar. I'm going to go inside it.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I think King of the Hill we could rework to maybe, because we didn't want it to where it's just like, oh, I have 2 characters in the center. Yay. Right? Mm-hmm. But I think maybe we have to rework it to where...
Well, King of the Hill can't be scored by a character, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Multi-model
that's
unit.
One of the issues.
Yeah. I think characters should have been allowed to, but...
Maybe one, right? Like you can have up to one of them can be a character, right?
Sure, something like
that. Because like some armies can do that, like the new salamanders, right? If you're doing like the, you're doing the Terminator kind of shield, right? They can do that, because if they take the center, taking it from, right? Like even Raven Guard can do it, because you can start with eliminators in the center.
Yeah, right? You can just be there. Lord Draconis, no, Mark for Death is good. Because there's so much 7 power level. What Adam and I were saying is we don't like the bookkeeping aspect of it.
Yeah, the bookkeeping. That's what keeps me from doing it.
Yeah. I also prefer the ones where it's like Butcher's Bill. Did I kill 2 things this turn? Cool.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to care. If I killed 14, it doesn't matter. I killed 2.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Do you think more secondaries should be interactive or not? I prefer the non-interactive secondaries. But that's a personal preference. I don't think that it should be more tilted one way or the other. I think there should be a equal amount of types of secondaries to fit the play styles of the players playing the events. If you skew it all one way or the other, you are automatically going to be favoring certain types of players and certain styles of list, more importantly.
Right.
So you want to have it diverse enough that lists and play styles and all that stuff remains diverse also.
Yeah, lately I've been trying to choose more non-interactive secondaries so that I don't have to depend on my opponent to provide those. Like old school or killing something when they can hide their whole army behind something.
Yep.
And I can't see anything that first turn.
Yeah, old school, everybody always talks about how old school is a trap. And that data kind of shows it's a trap because it's very commonly picked.
Right.
But it's also one that is not giving up a lot of points, because it's super easy to be like, okay, you're not going to get Warlord.
Yeah.
Or you're not going to get First Strike.
Right. Or you're not going to get Line Breaker because you're not fast enough to get here.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like it's very common if you pick old school to get 2.
Yeah.
That's what I expect if I ever pick. I don't expect to get Warlord or Line Breaker.
Yeah, old school is one of those ones where I'll pick it if I know for sure I can kill the Warlord on first turn because I've got the Castellan or something. Mm-hmm. Or if their Warlord is like a Knight and I'm playing Knights also, well, of course I'm taking old school. Old school and Titan Slayer is super easy against a Knight army. So,
yeah.
Okay. So we'll move to Patreon questions for those that don't know. Just like every other podcast and every other person that plays 40K.
We have a Patreon?
We have a Patreon. We've had it for a while now. I was looking back at how long we've had it. We just never advertise it.
Where the hell's my damn paycheck?
If we do,
where's my Patreon paycheck?
It's to your ego.
Oh, it's not as fun.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I can't spend ego on hookers and blow.
You can when you tell them who you are. You show them your memes, right? That's how it works, right?
No, none of this is real. It's all fake.
There is
and by this I mean literally like the money, the ego, and the hookers and blow. None of this stuff is real.
Yes. Luckily, his wife doesn't watch.
Yeah. She'd find that funny. She gets that kind of humor.
But we do have a Patreon members group that you can ask questions, talk to us, lists. Danny does a little thing when he goes to events like RTTs or GTs. So it's just $5 a month. We are going to have a contest. I guess I'll announce it at the end.
We're doing more contests. See, this is why I
We
don't
have
pay
one.
attention
We
to
have
Patreon.
one. We have one
Like
for
contests.
Patreons only, and one for the regular listener. But during every episode, we ask Patreons to ask us questions and stuff. So Chris asks, or actually Josh asks, how long until all high quality memes are put behind the paywall? That's for John.
When the paywall money goes
Soon.
directly to me and I don't have to share with anybody else in this stupid fucking podcast, then it'll go
So
behind a
never.
paywall.
So never. Do you
Oh
think
man,
GW...
that was a little salty. I didn't stay very positive.
That's right. Well, someone was complaining that there's not enough salt, right?
Yeah, Valerie.
Valerie.
Valerie? Like the song Valerie? No, I think it's spelled the same way.
KR Quinn asks, has PL changed on anything? Does anyone know? I think they have changed PL on a couple things, but they're not. GW doesn't normally change
Power level.
the
no.
power level, and because of that, power level nowadays is probably a bit off than it was in the beginning.
But it's still a
Yeah,
decent
it's-
standard to use for things like secondaries because it doesn't change very much.
Right.
At least in my
terms of-
opinion.
Yeah, I don't think they've changed secondary PL too much.
Mm-hmm.
So Chris asks, do you think GW will ever switch over to a rule subscription model, like $5 a month, updates each month or every other month, while treating the physical books more like collector's items?
When they know it is profitable, they will do that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. When they actually have like hard data of like, if we do this, we will maintain the amount of money we're making right now from selling our books, which,
Perhaps.
you know, I mean, people, I don't know, people have this idea of GW that, you know, they're a company, you know, by gamers for gamers. And I'm like, no, they're not. They're a multinational corporation.
Yeah,
they're not going to make major structural changes unless they're absolutely sure that it's going to be profitable.
Hey, why
Right,
did you
like-
skip my 3 questions?
Huh?
No one cares about
I
it.
just looked at the Patreon page.
You don't
Why
even
did
get
you
to the
skip my
Patreon.
questions?
Because you don't give to the Patreon.
But I'm in the group and I asked questions.
That's because you're a host. You have to be in there.
My questions are the best questions. Just so you know.
If we have time.
Okay.
If DGW does not do anything about Iron, the rest of the Space Marines before LVO, I think this question may have been before.
Yeah,
the
this
LVO.
is a little out of date.
That's Carl, though.
Yeah.
Shout out to Carl and Charlie.
Yes.
But basically, if they don't do anything more, say because we don't know what how salamanders and imperial fists are going to affect.
Salamanders don't need to be touched. They're fine.
Do you think FLG will do something like they did in the past to comp Space Marines? I honestly don't think they will.
Yeah, I doubt that.
Yeah, I don't think they'll need to. I think GW's going to handle it. They just proved that they're going to handle it with Iron Hands today. So, you know, I think it's going to be fine.
All right, you heard it
I mean, I
first.
think that
John says everything will be fine.
Everybody RELAX.
Yeah. I mean, I think the today really does show that GW does pay attention, does listen, is willing to, you know, make hard turns if they feel like they need to, or they feel like the player base really is rebelling. So.
And if they slack off, I'll make some memes and they'll change their mind because that's what happened today.
Yeah, exactly. We've got John,
My memes changed the world today.
our Dark Knight.
Yes.
Our
Oh, yeah,
meme
somebody
knight.
posted that GIF, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Somebody posted that GIF to me.
It's going to be
That's good.
Salty John the Meme Knight.
Yes. The Meme Knight. That'd be a good title for a movie about my life. I would also like Christian Bale to play me. I feel like that's accurate.
Oh my god, I'm going to go with Danny DeVito.
I would take Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, I appreciate you reaching for the first, John. Just keep doing that.
Yeah.
So next question, Carl asks also, after several editions of 40K, I've seen a lot of quote unquote bullshit moments like the Space Marine Codex and the supplements. Could we speak to similar moments in 40K history and a brief comparison to show newer players to compare previous examples to today?
Well, the only examples we have of things not being addressed.
Yeah, we only have examples of things not being addressed.
Right. So, yeah, all of 7th Ed. Oh, Lord Draconis just said this exact same thing. All of 7th Ed. 5th edition Grey Knights. 3.5 Chaos.
Whoa. 3.5 chaos was
Rhino
perfectly
Rush
fine.
Space Wolves in third, or was that second? That was third,
That
right?
was third.
Third, Rhino Rush Space Wolves.
One
No,
was
it
Star
was
Cannon
it was-
spam,
Star
was also
Cannon
third.
spam, and then
That was third.
the Necrons
and then
in
Unkillable
fourth.
Wave Serpent, or
Remember the monolith, the triple
Falchions.
monolith list in fourth
Yeah.
with the Nightbringer.
yeah,
Mhm.
and
You had
Unkillable Falcons.
that
Yes.
was third and fourth. Yeah.
That was
That was
fourth.
fourth.
That was
And
yeah.
then,
That was fourth. Darian played.
Well, that was when was it fourth or third where you could only hit skimmers on sixes.
that was fourth. That was
Yeah,
Darian's
that was
stupid
that
ass
was
list.
there was the Rhino Rush, but it was Blood Angels. Remember they got the free move
Yeah.
at the start of the game.
Yeah, and then there was
That was the one turn charge Rhino Rush Blood Angels.
the flyer lists in sixth. Remember when they first like the
Oh,
Necron
yeah.
Air,
Into fifth.
Flying
early-
Circus, the Demon
yeah.
Flying Circus that I played for a
Demon
while.
Flying
Too.
Circus. Yeah.
That was good. That was.
I don't know if you guys remember, but there was nothing wrong with the 3.5 Chaos Codex
Shut
'Cause you-
up.
because you had the Siren Prince.
Oh
if
my
everyone remembers.
god! Dude, everything was wrong with the 3.5 codex. The
And then-
3.5 codex was like still trouncing people at the end of fourth edition.
And I don't see the problem. It was perfectly balanced.
Yeah. So, anyways, there's not really a parallel to today because today, like literally today, they proved that they were absolutely a different company than they were in the past.
Yeah, they're not the old GW.
Yeah.
No.
Basically.
And
Yeah.
Kirby cried into
Again,
his tea.
this is why we have that first time meme of like, oh my god. It's like new, 8th edition, pretty much only 8th edition players. Like, oh my god, GW just ruined the game with this army. And then it's just everyone else who's played this game long.
With the
first
noose around
time.
their neck, first time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's just, it happens. And at least you don't have to
Twitch
go
Village
4
Idiot
fucking years.
Twitch Village Idiot referred to me as the hero we didn't deserve or need.
Oh my god.
I mean, that guy doesn't look like me, but he could play me in my life story.
Which one?
With the guy that played Two-Face.
Guy.
What was his name?
Aaron Eckhart.
Aaron Eckhart, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a lot
There's a-
of stuff in the past, Carl, that just
was
was
bullshit.
bad, and you literally just had to put up with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a Nidzilla player in edition,
Oh my
I would
God,
also like to
right
say Jaws of the World Wolf.
Oh yeah, Jars of the World Wolf was the best.
Of the psychic power that single-handedly invalidates armies.
Yeah.
I'll never forget the first game I played with that, and I used it. Not the first game, but I used it.
Well, tell people what it does.
So it would
What
basically
it used to do.
you would roll. I think it was a toughness test, right? And if the
No, it
model's
was an
toughness
initiative test.
Initiative test.
It was
you
an
would cast
initiative
the power
test, and it was
draw
a straight
line.
line. You could hit multiple things.
Yeah, and anything hit by the line rolled a toughness test, and if it failed, it died. It was swallowed
No,
up. And
initiative
dead.
test.
Initiative test. So
That's
I
what killed
used it.
Nidzilla.
Yes, because their initiative was crap. But
It was
I
like 2 or 3.
I used it to swallow up 2 of Brandon's Grey Knight Dread Knights when Dread Knights were actually good. And
yeah.
at the beginning of 5th, or when they came out in 5th, and I'm playing my first game against the Grey Knights. I'm like, cool, I'm gonna take a Jaws the Werewolf guy, but I can swallow one of these things. Boom, 2 dead, turn 1.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, this power's legit.
Yeah, I remember playing against that. I think it was you, John, where I had my
Yeah.
my Carnifex list,
Mhm.
and it's like, okay, Jaws of the Werewolf. Okay, there's 3 of them dead. Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. And then the missile launcher is like, oh, there's another 3 dead.
Yeah,
Okay, well,
I played Missile Wolves with that. Yeah, Missile Wolves and Nijal, Stormcaller, Nial, or whatever his name is. Yeah, that was good. That was a good list. Those were the days.
Yeah. That's
I
why
think it's
3.5
hilarious.
was 5. Was fine.
I think it's hilarious
5
when
was
people
good.
now are like, like, oh yeah, I remember back in 5th edition when 8 strength 7 shots was broken.
Yeah, right. Seriously. What do you mean your long fangs can have 5 weapons?
That's right.
Yeah. Nowadays, like, oh, that model shoots 20 times at weak shit.
Yeah, right. Like your Dubgat only shoots 24 times. Okay, bro.
So good. So SoCal. Danny, you're going. I'm going.
Yep.
Turn our list on Monday. Tom's going.
I have to
How
set
do
an
you-
alarm to remind myself to do that.
So your
Just
I'll probably
now.
do mine this weekend. My list
Yeah.
is staying the
Just
same. I'm not
post it
changing.
now.
Yeah. There's no reason to hide it.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm
changing
in BCP yet. Let me check.
I'm taking the list I just mentioned for the RTT.
Oh no, I'm in SoCal. Look at that.
Nice.
I'll be glad to go 3-3 because I went 2-4 last year. So that's my prediction. 3-3. I'll play, and my 3 losses will be against.
Iron Hands, and Iron Hands.
I'm gonna say 2 Iron Hands and an Eldar.
Yeah.
Seems right.
Eldar.
For non-Iron Hands players, Eldar still for non-Space Marine players.
Yeah, Eldar is still a problem for them. Yeah.
And
by problem, I don't mean like it's broken. By problem, I mean a difficult matchup.
Yeah.
Because Eldar is not broken anymore. It was with Yunari at the beginning of 8th.
Well, now it's just the Flyers.
Now it's just the Flyers.
With the Castellan and Mortarion, I don't have as much of an issue, but it's just I need to go first. Basically.
Well, and with the number of Iron Hand Flyers that are going to be flying around too.
Oh my God.
Those things are really good at killing the Eldar Flyers.
Oh, yeah. So
and
I
the
may see them at the
nerf
bottom
didn't
tables.
affect their offensive output because none of the nerfs affected offensive output whatsoever. All the nerfs affected defensive, right?
Yep.
If I'm
Yes.
remembering correctly. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Danny, what's your prediction for you personally?
For me personally, I'll be happy with 50-50. I'll be happy with 3-3.
Prior to the nerf, I was
I
expecting
think-
6-0.
No.
Yeah.
I
Well,
haven't
definitely
placed
did not
money on. I got to
expect
call the
6.
bookie, try to get my $150 back.
what was your prediction before today, Danny?
Before today, 4-2, maybe 5-1, depending how drunk I got. Really,
Now 3-3.
yeah,
You don't need to get drunk. You just need the Adderall.
yeah.
You just
The
need
PEDs.
Yeah, you need the performance enhancing drugs for 40K.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be like 3-3, just depending on if all things are even. If I go first 3 games, I'll probably win. So yeah, I'm taking my Iron Hands list. I'm making no changes because I just don't have time to like get other models and like reconfigure it to optimize it in the new world. Like get a bunch of flyers and that kind of stuff. So I'm running just 3 Executioners, 3 Whirlwinds, Farios, Libby, all the tech and doing that castle. So nothing all that exciting. So like I said, if I go first, I think I can shoot most armies off.
Right.
If I don't go first, then we'll see. If I get good terrain and a good deployment where I can hide, my Executioners, then should be okay. But probably not.
Predictions. Prediction for Tom.
Tom, I think will go. I'm going to be honest. I think he's going to go. I think he'll go 3-3, maybe 2-4. It depends on his matchups because
2-4.
his list. Yeah, his list struggles with knights, and
Yeah.
his list struggles with like Iron Hand Flyers.
Yeah,
And I think you're going to see plenty of those.
it's true.
Like, if I go first against Iron Hand Flyers, I think I'll be fine.
Yeah, for those that don't know, he's taken an unusual Iron Hand successor list because there's no repulsors, 2 flyers, and some what are the scout dreadnoughts called? Invictors.
Yeah, the Invictors.
Yes.
The
Yeah,
Invictors, because it
Invictors.
was originally an Ultramarines list, and then Iron Hands came out. So he's
Right.
so I think 3-3. If he's lucky, I think 4. I think he can go 4-2. Depending, I think he drops one and then goes from there.
Yeah, probably.
Drops the first one. John,
Mhm.
how do you think Tom will do?
I have 4-2.
4-2. All right.
Mm-hmm. Hey, what's
what
the,
he went-
somebody
what
in
he
the
went
chat's asking where the link to the Patreon? Just the donate tab?
Go to patreon.com and just look up TFG Radio.
Oh, okay. I'll put the link. There's a donate tab on our website.
There is.
Yeah, but that's just like to give us straight money.
No,
apparently?
that's through PayPal, I think. Yeah. I
Oh.
keep on forgetting to change that.
You can give us straight money too, apparently.
That's like a one-time donation.
Yeah, right. Let's see. Patreon.com.
One last question before we head out. What's your favorite site for 40K articles, and why is it Moonhammer?
Who said that?
Adam Volrath. Volrath. You never pronounce that.
Is he
That's
the
Axis-
Goonhammer
that's Axis
guy?
Avenger.
Oh, that's
Axis
Axis.
Avenger.
That's right. That's Axis. Okay, cool.
They have put out a lot of content.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Goonhammer puts
absolutely.
out tons.
We'll see. Well, the issue. We'll see if they can maintain it because that's one of the issues.
That
I
is the
found.
hardest part of those. Yeah.
Whether it's podcasting, blogging, whatever.
Mhm. The only two super successful ones have ever been are Bell of Lost Souls and Frontline Gaming.
Yeah, Bell's is like on like its 13th or 14th year, or something like
Yeah.
12th year.
And
12th year?
Frontline Gaming's been around a long time.
Yeah.
And it's very successful also. So
There's been plenty of like I help, like I mentioned before, I help monitor the 40K comp page, and I see a lot of blogs that put stuff up.
and they come and go.
Yeah, they kind of do. Usually they do spurts. They'll do like Goonhammer's doing right now. It's boom.
Right.
And then next thing you know, there's nothing for like a month or two. And then it starts to stretch out before that. The same thing with podcasts. They'll be pretty. A lot of them will be pretty regular, and then after a while, life happens, or like
Yeah.
something like Iron Hands happens, and they lose interest.
Or they realize they're not going to make any money at this ever.
Right. You don't do this because you make money.
Right.
So with that, so
It's just-
we'll see. It's a good site. It's I probably would stretch out their content a little more so not put it all at once, and then but that's just
Yeah.
that's just me worrying about like not having enough content further down the line. But
Mhm.
I just worry about things like that. So
Yeah.
I believe that's it. Just there is a quick advertisement if you live in the Michigan near Howell, Howell, Michigan.
Mhm.
To stop by A&J Gaming, their new store that's just starting out. Just, give it a visit, where everything's 25% off.
Nice.
Ooh, so that's
Good
a good
times.
deal.
That is a good deal. Wish there was someplace like that around here.
Yeah.
You get to hear about his movie reviews. It's fine. Right?
Yeah.
And Star Wars theories. It's
Yeah.
fine.
That's cool.
That's well worth it.
I'm fine.
Anyway, it's A&J Gaming. Look him up. Howell, Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Again, be sure to check out the Patreon. You get to be in the Patreon group where they have such excellent suggested groups as the Marvel Universe, Only Love, Subtle Asian Traits, and Subtle Depressed People Traits. That's what my suggestions are. Which I don't know what Facebook is trying to tell me.
Not very confidence-inducing.
Oh my god! And the other one, there's a fifth one, but I can't pronounce it. So.
Yeah. You do get access to the outtakes.
Yeah, once in a while, if there's enough,
Junk.
if there's enough there, when I transfer it to audio, I cut off the front end, and then I put that for the Patreon. So you can hear some of the past outtakes on the Patreon page
Mhm.
for Patreons only. I don't know if we did too much this time, but we'll have to listen to it again when I port it over to audio form.
Yeah.
But John, Danny, anything else? Any last thoughts?
Valerie said that Iron Hands will drop from 80% win rate to 60. Who really thinks that this nerfs are enough? Really, it is okay for things to be good.
I think we'll still. I know it gets tiresome and it gets frustrating when people say let's wait and see, but I think with the FAQ we'll have to wait. We'll know at SoCal since we'll see what happens at SoCal. Danny, do you know figure out which one's on? Who's going to be on top? Is it going to be Iron Hands?
No, I think the usual suspects will come out on top. So I think Brandon Grant, this is like his home turf essentially. So like he's always the man to beat. So that's Asher Militarum.
Yeah.
Jim Vestal's coming, and it depends. I think he was playing around Space Marine lists. So
Yeah.
see, I mean, I would not be surprised if Space Marines won.
Yeah, I just don't know if it's going to be Iron Hands.
It's going to be Iron Hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
But it
White
will be
Scars are really good. Raven Guard really good.
Just straight up,
Yeah.
Like, again-
Ultramarine Space Marines are really good too. Like, there's all kinds of stuff that's good. So
Yeah,
I think
I haven't seen Ultramarine list. I'm like super scared of, to be fair, but like
yeah, I'm
And-
still
okay.
not.
Let's also be real with this. If Space Marines win SoCal Open,
I won't be surprised.
that's okay.
no, that's
Because when
fine.
was the
It's-
last time a Space Marine army won a major in 8th edition?
Right.
Early 8th for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there was the flyer spam that
index
won Boise.
days.
In index days.
Right. Like the first
G-Man.
8th edition GT,
I
the
think
Boise
there's-
Cup.
I think there was one maybe 6 months ago.
Even by the time the first Bay Area Open of 8th came along, they already were not going to beat what they had come up with for Astra Militarum. Like it really is okay for Space Marines to be good. What is not okay is for them to have an 80% win rate and win like every single tournament that they could possibly be in, except for
Well,
like one
the
a weekend. You know,
the real question will be what will be like the top 10. How many of those will be like some form of Space Marine?
I bet
Imperium will dominate.
Yeah, Imperium is going to dominate.
Imperium, but I mean Space Marine in particular.
Well,
because
I think Space Marine will be in there.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. But yeah, Imperium includes Custodes, Imperial Guard, blah blah blah.
No, I don't think. I mean, I think I'll put it this way. My prediction would be.
Yeah, Draconis says
in terms
4
of
out
taking
10.
it. Yeah, I would say 4 or 5 out of 10 being Space Marine or having Space Marines in it, and then a couple of Eldar or Eldari, and then an Astra Militarum or 2, right? Because I think, and that's the thing is, maybe a Chaos list. I mean, it's just
I don't know.
Maybe it's like the thing is like the really strong board control Chaos list just wilts to Space Marines now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like with the actual good rerolls and all of that, a bunch of ways to ignore penalties or to boost your own ballistic skill and stuff like that. It's just that list doesn't have the durability that it used to.
Right.
So
yeah,
I think Chaos
can do Orcs can make it.
I think Orcs can do it, but especially with the new Space Marines, like that becomes a coin flip because Space Marines can put out so much shooting that they can just obliterate an Orc army.
Yeah, it'll depend on how hot the shock attack gun rolls for that player during the
tournament. But even if it's not like that, I mean, I think of like Tim's Raven Guard Centurion bombs. Like those drop down, murder, 60, 70 boys. And then you can't kill all of them, especially if they pop transhuman physiology. So now the strength 10, strength 9 shock attack guns wounding on 4s, right? Like that's not super good for them. And then they charge in and keep murdering, plus eliminators to kill the Big Macs and all that kind of stuff, right? Like I think it's good for the game that Space Marines are strong because otherwise, when you tables, it's like it's Eldari. Or it's Astra Militarum, right? Like, or it's maybe Orcs, right? But there weren't that many, or Tau. There's having Space Marines adds another predator into the ecosystem, which forces lists to change, which allows non-competitive factions to actually maybe tech to have something that is good in the meta, right? Like you need that kind of constant change. Otherwise, it ends up like 5th edition or times in 7th edition where the same winning everywhere because they're just the best list and there's no updates for 3 or 4 or 5 6 months, so the meta doesn't change in any way because too
right
I think that's just
I think it's like I think some form of Space Marine top 10, and it's a mixed bag with whether it's Orcs, Eldar, Imperial Guard. I think at least one of those make it. If Orcs can get certain matchups and do well especially with the shock attack gun, I think they can make a run. But
absolutely,
I don't know what that final table will put it at. I think you mentioned, Danny, you were talking earlier. And I think we were talking off air before the outtake, so it's not recorded.
Right.
About your theory about why Space Marines are so good.
Well, I mean, I think it's, again, I see things perhaps maybe not as kindly, but GW is a company, right? They're a large corporation. They're a, publicly traded company, right? Their primary mission is to their shareholders, and so they're investing a lot of capital and exposing themselves to a lot of liability by doing like fucking Bandai action here, action figure, the Funko Pops, and now comics with Marvel.
They really
right? Like these are all
exposing
things.
themselves to all these children.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just they're doing all of this, and what do they? Space Marines, because that's their iconic. That's the one thing everyone can recognize. So if you get a bunch of if you get a bunch of people, primarily probably younger people, or even maybe older people who have just never been exposed to the hobby, who are like, man, these things are awesome. I love action figure, or I love these comics. This is dope. I want to play the game, right? I want to actually try it. And space, you don't want your poster boy army that is your public outreach essentially to suck, right? People want to buy a model and build and play them and actually do well.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't think it was an accident that Space Marines ended up being probably one of the strongest, if not the strongest single codex, because if this is your brand ambassador, you can't have them be bad, right? It just doesn't work.
Yeah, it almost brings back the days in White Dwarf when the army that just came out to win the inaugural battle.
Right. It's like, oh yeah, and here we have orcs with, look at them working on Gorkanaut. They're just doing so much damage. Oh my god, these are so good.
Yeah. Let's see. KR Quinn says that he's going to go for $20 a month for the Patreon to buy two of us a beer a month. And he said, do I get to pick the two? And then he said, it's a meme war. The winner gets the beer. So I get all the beer.
It depends in context. The only good ones I do are the both horrible and one and a couple other ones.
And then Lord Draconis says that he's going to bet us a sub to the Twitch.
The Twitch?
That Space Marines win SoCal.
Just Adeptus Astartes or just all Space Marines?
He says Space Marines win SoCal.
I mean, it's I wouldn't be, again, I would not be shocked. Yeah. Right? Space Marines are good. People haven't figured out how to necessarily tech them perfectly, and it's just a reality that there's a bunch of different Space Marine builds. Like there's Iron Hand, there's even Iron Hands, there's Executioners, there's there's going to be Impulsor Spam.
Yeah, and I don't think Impulsor Spam will be at SoCal because the models aren't out yet, and I don't think anybody.
You never know. Some people are. Some people buy five big ass models and paint them, 3 days, right? Like,
yeah,
it's definitely doable. And then you've got White Scars, which are just hard to build against because it just depends how they build them. Or even if they just ally in, because White Scars are the best. Like, I don't care about my chapter tactic Space Marines because you take a Supreme Command, you slash, you take maybe a bike, a con, and then another character, and you take a big unit of sense to outflank in, and it's like the bike, the con moves 20, then charges. You can use stratagems to boost the charge. Yeah. And if it has Masters of Snares, it can hit an army and then be like, cool, 4+, I hold you in combat and you don't get to shoot.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's just brutal for some armies, especially because it's a model that can hide pretty easily and then all of a sudden shoots fucking across the board and hits your army and is like, great, I tagged this drone squad. And then I'm going to consolidate into, okay, 4+, all you need to do is hold one and you can't shoot it, can't do anything. It's going to murder drones, it's going to fall back and charge and for something sweet or just lock down the army, right? Like it's insane. So I would not be surprised if Space Marines win. I just think Brandon Grant is a good enough player and his army is tuned enough to handle those. And then of course you've got like Nick Nonov. I think he's running Space Marines.
Right.
So that's another strong contender. You have Jim Vessel. I'm not sure what he's running. You have a lot of heavy hitters. So it really depends on what they play. Because if Iron Hands were what they were 24 hours ago, you had much more viability of like some random dude going 6-0 because they're just fucking obliterating people off the table. Yep. But now I think it's you got to look at who the top players, what they're bringing.
I think Space Marines still have the inside track on getting top spot, so I won't be surprised.
Yeah. Again, Brandon is undefeated at SoCal Open, so he's always a safe.
Did he win both of them?
Yes. Would be his 3P if he wins. It's 3P.
It's his 3P. Okay. Well.
Yeah.
It's one of the issues with living in Southern California for the 40K in ITC.
Yeah, you have to play Brandon Grant.
So
although I was going to say I miss him at our RTTs though. That was always good practice.
Well, there's so many RTTs going on now, and he recently got married, so
Right, yeah.
So who knows how much longer we have him. So real quick about the contest, I'll talk about it more in the next episode, which will be after SoCal Open. We have two contests, one for the Patreon members, and that contest is in case you haven't listened to the show before or only listened recently, we have a fourth member named Tom. He's on occasionally. Our nickname for him is Butters. If you ever listen to the show or listen to the old episodes, you understand why. And we call him Butters. But the contest for the patrons will be to give Tom a new nickname. He'll still be called Butters, but we'll call him the other nickname too at all times, especially at tournaments. So whoever comes up with the best nickname, Tom will not know what the nickname is because he does not get to pick. That's just a rule in life. You don't get to pick your own nickname. The prize for that will be a Forge World Ferris Manus painted by our own Salty John.
Yep.
And then for the regular listeners, it will be what I'm calling a haiku. Last year we had the haiku about the show. And for those not familiar with that, it's a Japanese form of poetry. Although technically it should be in Japanese, the syllable count. But in English, it's 575, the number of syllables in 3 lines. Just something hateful about one of us, about the show, about Tom, mainly about Tom. But the price for that, we haven't really decided yet, but it may just be like a character pack or a vehicle or something along those lines. But we'll figure something out. It'll be something for free. That's more important. So if you have that,
I was going to say the most important part is it's free.
Yeah. So we'll get that out. The details will be out the next week or two, probably after SoCal, and then I'll talk about it again. But again, John, Danny, you guys have any last thoughts? Any final words?
Today was a good day.
Yeah, today's a good day. Have a little faith.
Have a little faith and patience.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Not the day. These aren't like the old days for those of us that remember.
Yep.
Again, thank you everybody for listening. Have a good night and a pleasant tomorrow.
Laters.
See ya.